That's right. You know what that sound means. The official Handball Blitz podcast back again for another edition. Of course, a lot of you tuned into Handball 360 last night. No major trade news to speak of, but I'm joined now in the studio. My name, of course, Nick Davis, 3 times Lismore Diocese handball runner-up. Joined now, of course, Mitchell James Lewis, our man on the streets, our roving reporter, joining us in the studio. You're out there today, Mitchell. Welcome in. Welcome to the Handball Blitz official podcast.
Good to be here, Nicholas. Thanks for having me again. A big week in handball. Big week in Handball Blitz.
Absolutely right it is. Of course, we've now had our 4th school visit. You were out there this morning. But before we get into that, Mitchell, I'd just like to talk to you about your handball credentials. Tell me what you were like back on the court.
Look, to be fair, didn't quite reach the heights that you did, that you were just speaking of. Sort of B grade representative in the primary school years, and it was the 4-square team that I did make in senior school. Didn't push on post school. Much more of a commentator, a sort of analyzer of the game. I found myself. That's where my strengths are, and that's why it's great to be involved in Handball Blitz. Not as much of a beast on the court, but my God, I love watching the game and the growth and the development. Yeah,
well, that's it. And you're a beast of a reporter off the court, of course. Now, you were out this morning, Our Lady of Angels School, and the wall of noise that came through from your interview was truly incredible. Now, I know that they're a bit jacked up. Obviously, they've got a school visit from a former champion, and all of a sudden, they can smell the brand new handballs designed in Silicon Valley, made in China. That smell must have wafted across the quadrangle as you turned up, because they were pumped to see you this morning.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they had a lot sort of setting up there. They've got a lot of courts out there. I like their system. I like their setup that they've got out there at Our Lady. And like you said, the noise was crazy. I mean, not that it's all in a name, but I'm going out to see a place called Our Lady of the Angels, and I thought this is going to be a nice, a quiet setup. Maybe it's more about the individual. It's more about the mental prep. But no, they're ready for game time. They're ready for showtime. I think that 50,000 at Suncorp Stadium, that's not going to be daunting to anyone coming from Our Lady, because they seem to work under pressure. They train under pressure. We did speak to staff there and say that fills in any gap that they have out there in the curriculum. On paper, any academic stuff, great, but any free time is dedicated to handball time outside of the regular handball sort of time. So those balls showed up, and you're absolutely right, because the main quadrangle that they had set up there were 50, 60 deep. I think they don't just train wherever they can find a place. It is the premium zone that they like to go there, train on, and they just have to sit there and wait their turn and earn their spot. You know, we sit there. One of the teachers, God love it, made the mistake of asking one of the students, said, "Oh, is this the ace square?" And he looked at her with disgust and said, "No, the one next to it was ace. This is king. That's not ace." Like, he knew that he was standing in king. He didn't deserve to be called ace. He didn't deserve to stand in ace. And it was like, don't put that pressure on me right now. I'm focusing on my game. I've got to earn that spot. Don't speak to me during. And if you're going to talk to me, know your stuff. So I think they're in the right headspace. I think as far as Handball Blitz 2024, we've been doing this for a long time, and people know what to expect, and the kids know what they've got to get ready for. And Our Lady of the Angels is no different.
Well, absolutely they do. Here's all the action from this morning.
Weeks, yes, we're going to go over and speak to one of the bosses here at the school. Casey, hello. We'll just put on those headphones. They are absolutely crazy here.
They are.
So this is an everyday thing, right? It's not just the fact that we've come along and we're going to give out some of our elite Ash, Lutzi, Susie Neal, Nova 106.9 handballs. This is an official court. This is what it's like every day.
Yeah, the kids are so enthusiastic about handball. We love it here at Our Lady of the Angels, and they are definitely competitive at times.
Who are we looking at? Because we've got a lot of what looks to be the grade 6s, maybe grade 5 boys are out here dominating the court at the moment. But we've had a lot of other we'll get a lot of suggestions from all the other grades. I'm sure we'll get to you. Yes.
Yeah, these are our Year 4 boys. They practice morning, first break, and second break. They love it. They're so dedicated.
So is there any school? I mean, we just had to say, hey, can we just hang around an extra 10 minutes, talk some handball? You said kids are going to be fine with that, but just by what you just said, is there any actual schoolwork getting done in between those handball training sessions? Or
100%.
Okay.
We do school, yes, 100%. But yeah, the kids enjoy the break times, I think, a little bit more, don't we?
Now we're here to find your official sort of entrant into the semi-finals in a couple of weeks. So you said there's a big day coming up for the school in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so on the 11th of August, we have our school carnival. We will have games, rides, food, and everyone's going to be performing a school dance. So
Okay,
it's
now
very
that's going
exciting.
to be in the lead up to the semi-finals.
Yes.
Obviously, you guys entering in the north side. Is there going to be some type of like champions welcome, maybe some type of entrance? So like maybe something. We're getting a thumbs up from other members of the faculty here. So I dare say, if there is, we're going to be showcasing what the biggest and best parts of this school are on the eve of the semi-finals. We're going to want to debut the champion.
I definitely think we should do something
Okay.
like that. Yeah, we'll work it out. Sarah's looking at me like we'll work it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, that was incredible. As we spoke about the noise, I set your Apple Watch off this morning, Mitch. How's your hearing? Can you hear what's coming through the headphones right now?
Yeah, it's if any noise is bleeding through from my headphones onto the mic, I apologise. It did actually, I think my left went a little for a good 10 minutes after the final interview there. It was incredible. I mean, I said to them, I don't want to speak in absolutes, but I said to the kids out there, this may be the loudest it's ever been. And it wasn't like we were dealing with inside. I know that we've dealt with some inside handball.
We saw an indoor court the other day,
That's
which
true.
is going to prepare for the Southside finals
Yes.
really well. Location-wise, Mitch, are we north or south side this morning?
We're north side.
We're north
Yeah,
side, okay.
yeah.
So they don't really have to worry about it. If they're back at Nudgee College, as the semi-finals were
Yep.
in 2023, that will be an undercover sort of polished concrete. Now, let's talk about the surface. What were they working with?
It was a rough concrete actually.
Okay.
Like it was sort of obviously like polished in the sense that it was painted. It wasn't like they're dealing with old stuff that they're just dealing with. It's very much part of what the school want to be pushing as far as excellence goes. So it was a bit of a rough surface, a nice bounce to it. We know the balls that we've got developed for 2024. They can withstand all temperatures, all surfaces, all environments, whether it be outdoor, inside. It doesn't really matter what the weather conditions are like, but they really worked well with what those kids have got working with out there today. So they're going to be coming in, working off a high bounce, and I don't know how that's going to work with the stage. I know that we haven't quite decided on the surface texture that we're going with for the final, the grand final at Suncorp Stadium. It has changed between our first two grand finals over the last couple of years, but I think confidently, from what I saw this morning, these kids are going to be ready for anything.
Well, that's the thing. They have to make it to the semi-finals first, and again, you've got to control what you can control.
Yep.
Can't be thinking about the grand final too early on. I know the big lights are there, but you just got to focus on making those semis there. So, maybe a bit more bounce. It's more, it suits more of your backcourt player, a bit more reach. Probably stay away from getting stuck into that in-close battle, those short little half volleys.
Yeah.
They can creep up on you. That's not what you want. Sit back in the court, lean into your shots, and drive down the line is what I'd suggest.
And that was one thing that this school, I think, sets it apart from all others. That the squares, their individual squares in the four-square game were massive. I think each of their squares could have easily hosted its own four squares. So
Incredible.
I know that the stage isn't that big for grand final day, but they are dealing with the fact that just because it bounces past you, it doesn't mean the game's over. Like, you've got to be reaching. You've got to put in that extra little bit of commitment and make the game your own. And that's what they're doing out there.
Absolutely right. Of course, an excellent handball program at Our Lady of Angels School. And we're just going to their website really quickly. Once you move past it, straight away, everything is dedicated to handball. But they do have a special section here. We are committed to providing high-quality education which focuses upon students as both individuals and 21st century learners. So keeping with the modern times, we aim to develop our students to become successful learners, confident and creative individuals, and active and informed citizens. So there's a real Ted Lasso approach there, I'd say, to this school. They're really trying to develop their students to become all-rounders. And I like to see that because at the end of the day, it's not about who you are on the handball court. It's most as important who you are off the court as well. So a sensational program they have out there at Our Lady of Angels School.
You know what? The Ted Lasso comparison is fantastic. I mean, really, when I'm thinking about it through that lens, every other location I've ever been to, if they're coming at it with a real aggressive approach, you can feel that in the game and with the students. If we're going into it and it's a much quieter zone and everyone's coming at it being too, I don't want to say the word, but nice, it's kind of reflected in the way they're playing the game. Whereas this place, very nice. The school itself was beautiful. The surfaces were great. Everyone had a really positive attitude, and it was arguably too nice for the competition that we're dealing with. But then on the court, it was a completely different story. So I think they're able to switch exactly right. They're able to switch that on. Absolutely. So I think these guys might prove themselves to be a bit of a smoky. And it's not just the grade 5s, the grade 6s like it is at most other locations. I'm not writing off any other school. I'm not going to put my dignity on the line to do that. But I'm going to say Grade 3, Grade 4, the development of the game, the junior representatives, this school's going to be very strong for a long time.
Oh, it's incredible to hear. So, welcome Our Lady of Angels School to the Handball Blitz 2024 program as we work our way towards the grand final at Suncorp Stadium in front of 45,000 screaming fans. Mitchell, of course, yourself and I will be there in our own capacities, so we can't wait for them. We know that environment. If you do want to register your school or maybe a champion from your school, just head to the Nova win page, head to the Nova player, enter your school's details, and Mitch, you could be out on the streets bringing a fresh batch of handballs to deliver and maybe start a training program. You don't have to be ready for this year and keep pushing forward. And of course, now, look, we have to address the elephant in the room, the controversy coming out of the Northern Hemisphere program. Yes, there was the deflate gate with the handballs over there.
Yeah.
Just want you to know that there's nothing wrong with our manufacturing.
Yeah.
We haven't been taking the air out of them or adding, surface-inducing bouncers. We
No.
won't stand for that. We're a
Nope.
very, very concentrated program here in the Southern Hemisphere, and I think that's why our handball really holds up on the international stage. But the grassroots, Mitch, that's what it's about. Handball Blitz 2024.
Yep, both north and south side. We're visiting every single week on both sides of the river, and it's slowly building the rivalry. We've seen it over the last couple of years. It's building up nice and strong again, and all ages are really buying into this rivalry. It's not just something that they hear about; it's something that they live, something that they breathe, and it's going to get real spicy over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely, it is. And I'll preview the next Handball Blitz podcast. I'm going to put the parents in the gun. Some issues from last year that we need to discuss going forth in 2024. Hear about it on Handball 360 as well next week. I'm Nick Davis. That's Mitch Lewis. This is Handball Blitz.